What is good, everyone? It is your host, RaikageDre, back at you with another video. The news for this video is going to be big. It's getting really juicy out here, but before we get into the video, make sure to drop a like button. but before we start, make sure to drop a like down below to help this information spread across YouTube and help the algorithm out. Despite human malware coming along and wrecking many tech launches this year, the time for new graphics cards is approaching, and in this video we're going to talk about AMD's offerings for this year. AMD has a slightly turbulent history with graphics cards, especially recently. There's been some good launches, some bad launches, and some very sketchy driver updates when the cards first came out. However, the latest architecture is RDNA 2, more on that later in the video. AMD will release their graphics cards in waves, and they're starting out with their highest end flagship model known as Big Navi. Why is it called Big Navi? Because the supposed parts they're using are big. Now, this is a disclaimer. What I'm about to say are rumored specifications. However, they've been circulating around the internet for a bit, so that gives it a little bit more validity, but take what I'm saying with a grain of salt per usual until official data comes out from AMD. Now, to hop into the specs. The supposed specifications for Big Navi, the flagship GPU, includes a 7nm process, a 505mm die size, that's really big for GPUs, 21 billion transistors, 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and up to 80 compute units, hardware level ray tracing, and there are more specifications, but I'm going to have a link in the description where you can look at that for yourself because a lot of these specs are pretty techy, and for this channel I'll keep it more on the lighter side. As I mentioned before in the video, it's based on the RDNA 2 architecture, which AMD promised a 50% performance boost per watt over the previous generation RDNA 1. And this is significant because AMD's previous generation, the current one now, the RX 5000 series, it's promising a 50% boost over that technology. So potentially Big Navi can be twice as powerful as the current RX 5700 XT, which would make it more powerful than the RTX 2080 Ti, which is the best consumer card on the market right now. It's that big. Next-gen PlayStation and Xbox come out, which supposedly fall this year, so that puts a potential release date in the September-October range. So, in conclusion, based on all this information, I'm hype. If these rumored specifications are as good as we believe, not only can we expect 4K gaming to really come up in terms of affordability and performance, we can get some ray tracing elements too as well, and it'll be a gigantic boost capable of calling this new series of graphics cards next generation. Now, I see sometimes people get skeptical whenever rumored specs come out, because they don't want to get their expectations too high, only get it crushed later. And to those folks, I gotta say, why not fall for the hype? Especially in the time we're living in right now, with the world going through some kind of craziness in 2020, having some good news to look forward to can really improve the overall morale of the tech community. And also, who doesn't love innovation and competition? Whenever there's companies that can compete with one another, the consumers, so us, we benefit out of it with lower prices and better deals. Currently, the 2080 line is essentially a monopoly for Nvidia, so they can charge these pretty exorbitant prices because there's no competition. If AMD can come back this next generation, there can be a shifting in the price, which would only benefit us as consumers. So that's a big reason why I'm hyped for AMD's offerings this time around. However, this is not going to be an easy path for AMD, especially because we don't know everything that Big Navi could offer, even with the rumors that came out. For example, we don't know if AMD has an answer to NVIDIA's DLSS technology, or deep learning super sampling. To see the power of DLSS, look at the Minecraft ray trace version that came out recently. It's absolutely bonkers. Minecraft looks like a completely new game because of the lighting technology that ray tracing offers. So it made me a believer in ray trace technologies. To briefly summarize DLSS, it uses deep learning and AI to mimic what a directly rendered ray trace scene would look like, and this saves a lot of computational costs in the process. If you're interested in more about what DLSS is and what it can offer in terms of gaming, leave a comment down below and I can make another video on it, no problem. In terms of hardware encoding, NVENC by NVIDIA is top tier, and there hasn't been a real sort of competitor on AMD's side, so this may be something that they can think about adding in Big Navi as well. And lastly, the cost. We don't know exactly where it will lie, but we do know it'll probably be expensive, but we expect it to be competitive against the current 2080 line in NVIDIA, but it could be $1,000, it could be less than that, we're not too sure, but that's another mystery that we are not going to find out until later on. AMD has a chance to attack NVIDIA on all fronts, and because of that, I'm pretty excited to be part of the Big Navi Boy fan club. But don't get it twisted, that doesn't mean I'm a fanboy and I'm biased towards AMD, because what NVIDIA is cooking up is going to be very interesting. Their next generation technology, Ampere architecture, looks to be very impressive based on those specs, and I'm working on a video on that coming up, so get subscribed so you can get notified whenever I release that video. And that's the overview from the AMD perspective of things. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you disliked the video, give it a thumbs down, but if you liked the video, give this thumbs up, get subscribed, get notified, and follow me on my other social media too so you can stay connected to the Raikage community. I'm on Discord, Instagram, and Twitch. Until then, I'll see you next time. Big Navi Boys out.